if please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly state the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Please have a seat in the witness stand. Adjust the microphone so we can hear you. And for the record, state and spell your first and last name, please.
My name is Monica Sementilli.
Spell it, please.
M-I-R-E-L-L-A. Last name is Sementilli. S-E-M-E-N-T-I-L-L-I.
Thank you. Ms. Sementilli, can you tell us what your relationship was to Fabio Sementilli?
He was my little brother.
Okay. And how many children were in your family?
I was the middle child, and I have an older sister.
And what's her name?
Loretta.
You refer to her as Lori.
Lori, yeah.
Showing you Exhibit 13. Do you recognize what you see here?
Yes, that's Fabio.
And what is he doing in this picture?
He's probably putting on an incredible show for all the hairdressers who adored and loved him.
Is that what he did on a regular basis?
Yes, he was an MC as well as an awarded hairdresser.
As were you, correct?
Yes.
Showing you Exhibit 73. Do you recognize what you see here?
Yes.
And who are these individuals?
My brother, who's proudly hugging his 3 children, Luigi, Jessica, and Isabella.
Okay. And where are you and your family from, along with Fabio?
We're from Canada, Toronto. We were born in the city of Toronto. My mother, myself, my sister, and father were born in Italy. Fabio was the only one born in Canada.
Okay. And so your family, with the exception of Fabio, were immigrants that came to this country?
Yes.
Or not to this country, but to Canada?
To Canada, yes.
So are you also the godmother of one of Fabio's daughters?
Yes, Isabella.
And did you and your brother Fabio and your sister Lori all have a close relationship?
We did, yes, we did.
Did you have a close relationship with your parents?
Yes, very much so. We lost our father at a very young age, and my mom became our supporter. My brother was 9, I was 13, and my sister was 16. He was 39 when he passed.
Your father?
Yes.
And in order to support your family, did your mother have to earn a living to support the 3 of you and herself?
My mom, with basic education, worked 3 jobs to support us. We used to carry a key around our neck on a rope to go to school and take care of ourselves. Our older sister used to oversee us and made sure we ate, but my mom worked all the time.
What kind of work did your mom do?
She worked in a factory. She used to work where they knit sweaters, and she also cleaned a veterans hall as a cleaning lady. And on weekends, she worked at the flea market selling sweaters. We used to go and help her a lot. We were always supporting each other the best we can.
Your brother Fabio, when he was a kid, did he start various jobs and businesses in order to assist the family with making money?
Yes, he did. He worked as a supermarket stock boy at, he first had a newspaper job at 13, and then he worked at a supermarket stocking shelves at 16. And around 17, he used to also help with the Veterans Banquet Hall as well, washing pots and pans.
At some point in time, did you become a hairdresser?
Yes, I did.
And at some point in time, did Fabio start working with you?
Yes, he did.
And did you own a salon at that point?
I did. I owned a salon as early as 83.
And what was the name of that salon?
Modelli.
Modelli?
Modelli.
Okay. And when Fabio began working for you, did he eventually go to school to learn to cut hair and do color and things of that nature?
He did. He was working for me part-time, and then he loved it, and he was very, very talented, and he decided to go to hairdressing school.
All right. And subsequently, did you and Fabio own and run a salon together for many years?
Yes, we did. We, after he had his own salon, we felt we were far apart and we can consolidate. So we went into business together in 2001 called Salon Shampoo.
Okay. And the two of you owned it together?
Yes, we did.
And how many years did the two of you own and run this salon together?
Until he left for LA, 2009 or 10.
All right. And while the two of you were running and working at this salon, did Fabio become a platform or artist for Wella?
Yes, he did.
And did you do the same?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And while you were before Salon Shampoo, when you were working at Modelli, when you owned Modelli and Fabio worked at Modelli with you, did you and Fabio meet the defendant?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Yes.
And the defendant, you know Monica Sementilli is your sister-in-law of almost 20 years, right?
Yes.
You see her here in court?
Yes.
Can you identify her?
Yes, she's here to my right wearing a black blazer.
And while you and Fabio were working and you owned Modelli, that was in Canada, correct?
Yes.
How is it that you came into contact with the defendant?
She worked in a clothing boutique 3 doors down from the salon, Modelli.
Okay. And at that time, Fabio was married, correct?
Yes, he was.
And had a son,
Yes.
who we see in this photograph.
Yes, Luigi, yeah.
And at some point in time, did Fabio decide to open his own salon?
Yes, he did.
And when he left Modelli to open his own salon, at that point in time, did the defendant go with him?
Yes, she did.
Okay. And for a period of time before Fabio opened his own salon, did the defendant come and work for you?
Yes.
And what was she doing at your salon, at Modelli?
She was doing nails and makeup upstairs on the 2nd floor.
So you rented out a space to her?
Yes.
All right. And when Fabio left, what was the name of his salon?
Salon Fabio.
And what did the defendant do at Salon Fabio?
Well, Fabio cut hair and she ran the business.
Okay. Who handled the books, the finances?
Monica.
Okay. And at some point, did Fabio get divorced from his first wife and get married to the defendant?
Yes.
And that was in February of '97?
Yes.
Does that sound about right?
They got married, yes.
Okay. And you said then at some point you and Fabio came back together and opened a Salon Shampoo together.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Is that yes?
Yes.
And did the defendant again work in the business with you and Fabio?
She worked on the 2nd floor as well, again as a makeup artist, nail technician.
Okay. She had gone to school for that at some point?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And would you say that you and the defendant were very close for many years?
Yes.
Did you think of her like a sister, like you did with Loretta?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a photograph from August 6th of 2016. May it be marked as People's, I think it's 117?
What is the photograph of?
It's a photograph of the defendant with Morella and Loretta. Showing you Exhibit 119. Do you recognize this photograph?
Yes.
Is this you with Loretta and the defendant?
Yes.
And where was this taken?
At my house in Woodbridge, Ontario.
Okay. That's where you live with your significant other, Marco?
Yes, Marco.
Okay. And when the defendant married your brother, did you also become close to her entire family in Canada?
Yes.
And did Fabio become close with the defendant's family?
Yes.
Prior to Fabio's murder, were you also close with Fabio's daughters, including your goddaughter?
Yes.
And did you spend a lot of time with them prior to the time that Fabio moved with his family to Los Angeles?
Yes, a lot.
Once they moved to Los Angeles, did you see Fabio on a regular basis?
Yes, we did.
He would come up to Canada to visit his family, and you would also come down?
Yes,
Did you also do business in the Los Angeles area?
I did.
Was that also through Wella?
Yes.
Had you been to both of Fabio's homes in the San Fernando Valley? The first home that was a rental before the Queen Victoria home?
Yes, I had.
All right. And did you and your family spend holidays still together?
Yes, we did.
Approximately how often would you say that you and Fabio would speak?
At least every weekend, if not twice a week.
Okay. And when you came to Fabio and Monica's home on Queen Victoria, where did you used to spend time with him?
Usually it was a beautiful day in LA, and it was always cold in Toronto, so we'd always be outside on the patio.
Okay. Showing you what's been previously marked as People's 9. It has a page 20 in the bottom left corner. Is this the patio area?
Yes, it is.
Is this the area where you and the families would get together?
Yes.
And was there a particular chair that you knew was Fabio's favorite chair, or where he would routinely sit?
Yes, he would sit to the chair here on my right, closest to the pillar.
The one here, the brown pad?
Closest to the cement plant box, yes.
If I show you People's 9, page 21,
Same,
that
yes.
would be the photograph I'm pointing to here, as you said, closest to the pillar.
Yeah.
And would when Fabio and the defendant and their kids moved to, their daughters moved to the Los Angeles area, did you also keep in touch with Monica?
Yes, I did.
And who handled the family's finances, if you know?
Overall.
Monica.
And did she tell you that she's the one that handled everything?
Yes, she did. I was curious about some cell phone charges, like what did she pay on her cell phone package? And I was asking Fabio or anybody, and she says, oh, don't ask him. He knows nothing about the utilities. I pay for everything.
Okay. So she told you that she was in charge of all of the bills?
Yes.
And did she also discuss with you that she was the one who made child support payments to Vonda for Luigi.
Yeah, she was very proud that she was the one communicating with Luigi's mother and not Fabio.
Okay. So she dealt directly with Vonda.
Yes, she did.
And did the defendant also tell you that she handled all of Fabio's paperwork from the business?
Overruled.
Yes, she did. She handled it all so that Fab can be free to be creative.
And in terms of the family's calendar and scheduling, who was in charge of that? Like if you wanted to set up a time to get together.
Fabio had told me that if there was any family events or, mom needed any help or time with his mom, that I should communicate with Monica so she can organize his calendar, because he wasn't doing that anymore. Monica was doing that for him.
Did you also know Fabio's professional assistant at Wella?
Yes,
And who is that?
Alicia.
You want to have a photograph of Alicia Truesdale, maybe Marcus Peoples 120.
Yes.
Showing you 120. Do you recognize this person?
Yes,
And who is that?
Alicia Truesdale.
Okay. And had you come to know Alicia very well from your work at Wella?
Yes.
You want to have another photograph of the witness along with her sister and mother, may it be marked as Peoples 121.
Yes.
Showing you Peoples 121. Do you recognize who you see here?
Yes.
Is that you and your sister and your mother?
Yes.
And was Fabio very close with your mother?
Yes, he adored her.
He was you said the youngest, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. I want to show you Exhibit 96. Do you recognize the email address as that of your brother's while he was working for P&G in 2016?
Yes, it is.
Do you also recognize the defendant's email address, calmatimo@hotmail?
Yes, it is.
Again, showing you Exhibit 97 from 2016. Did you know that eventually Cody bought out Wella from P&G?
Oh, yes, yes.
You were part of all of that
Yes.
situation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recognize Fabio's email address once Cody purchased the business?
Yes, I do.
And once again, the address for the defendant?
Yes.
At some point in July of 2016, did you fly to Las Vegas for the Trend Vision show?
Yes, I did.
You want to have another photograph of this witness along with the defendant? May it be marked as Peoples 121? Thank you. Showing you Exhibit 122. Do you recognize what you see here?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Where was this photograph taken?
This was in Las Vegas at the Aria, I believe, and we were having, I was having a big event for Trend Vision. It's like a competition for North America, and I was working one of the days, but I had some time off. So that's the evening of the event, the grand opening event.
Did you spend time both with Fabio and the defendant when you attended this event in Las Vegas in July of 2016?
Not a lot of time. Fabio was very, very busy, and he had asked me to meet up with Monica because she was coming, and that was a surprise to me. And I said, yeah, I'll have lunch with her. So I met her in the lobby.
At the hotel?
And then we had, yes, and we had a quick lunch, and then I went back to work.
Okay. And Fabio, was he the in charge of this event or the MC of this event?
Yeah, he spearheaded that event. It was a competition, almost like an Olympics, where hairdressers got together and would compete for, to win the coveted trophy for the year of that event, and they would be recognized as the Trend Vision Award winner. And so Canada and the US would come together, and Fabio was pretty much in charge with all of the production and everything, and he was the MC, and everybody would just stop him constantly in the halls. And
so was he, during the day, he would be busy in various events or planning for the evening events?
yeah,
Okay.
yes.
So we've heard a lot about the term platform artist.
Mm-hmm.
You were a platform artist. What did you and Fabio do when you traveled as platform artists around the world?
It's overruled.
Well, when we were a lot younger, started in the hair industry, we would train for competitively to be in competitions all over the world. We traveled together and we would compete and create creations like wonderful, beautiful hair. Within 7 minutes, they would say go, and then stop, and then the judges would come around and look at your model, and then we would all wait for the awards ceremony. And Fabio and I did very well in those arenas. Fabio won in Las Vegas. He won in Germany. I won in a few myself, and we just really were a very strong team. And because of that, a lot of hair color companies were always asking us to endorse their product. And so we gladly did so, and we continued to do a lot of educational work on platforms because we were up on a riser. And people would come to our classes and learn the newest tricks and tips in the hair industry.
Okay.
And we just kept getting huge numbers at our events. So eventually Fabio became permanent with Wella in that area.
I see. Mm-hmm. So that's those competitions as platform artists is what led the two of you to become independent contractors for a period of time with Wella.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure we all understood what that was. So during the week that you were in Vegas for the Trend Vision Awards, that would have been the week of July 22nd of 2016 through the 28th?
Correct.
Okay. And you said you had lunch with the defendant one day, but other than that, the defendant would have been on her own because you and Fabio were busy working.
Correct.
All right. Now, when was the last time that you saw your brother?
I saw my brother January 17 to approximately the 20th.
Were you in town on business that week?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And did you come into town with somebody?
Yes, I came to town with a colleague of mine, Antonio Quintieri.
Antonio, was he a hairdresser that worked with you and Fabio at Salon Shampoo in Toronto?
Yes, he worked for us for a short time, and then he also became a platform artist as well.
For Wella?
For Wella.
So during that week, some point in time, did you go to Fabio's home?
Yes, I did.
And when you got to the house that day, did Fabio seem like his usual gregarious self?
No, not at all. We were on our way to the house in a taxi, and I got a text message from him saying maybe today's not a good day. And I told him I'm minutes away. I didn't want him to do that. I'm coming. And then when we got there, we pulled in, and I didn't get the usual warm Fabio that I usually have, that he's usually so happy to see us. And he was looking quite concerned, working with his golf clubs. And then we walked in, and it was close to dinner time. It was probably 4:35. And we weren't served any beverages or food or anything.
Were you planning on, had this evening been planned for you to come to the home?
Yeah, it was planned weeks ahead of time, because we had to run something by Fabio since he was head of education. Even though I was a sister, I had to still talk business sometimes. And we got there, and I wanted to do it at his house so I could see the family, but he wasn't himself.
All right. And how about the defendant? Was she there that day?
She was there that day, yes. And usually, again, when I come to visit, there's usually some food or a spread, or everybody's happy to see me. And I didn't feel that way. And there was no food, there's no spread. We were hungry, and I thought maybe we would have to go out to eat something.
So you had thought you were going there for dinner that night?
I thought she would put some food on, yeah.
Okay. So did you have any conversation with her that you recall at this point?
Vaguely, very short.
Okay. And then shortly after that time, did you return home to Canada?
Yeah, well, the beginning of our trip, I passed by to see Fabio. Usually I extend my trip and I stay a little longer, and I stay with the family either even one more day or so. But no, this time I didn't. I just went home.
Okay. And how is it that you learned about your brother's murder?
I was ready to start a conference call. It was 9 o'clock on Monday night, January the 23rd, and I got a phone call, and I was the head of this project that we were working on, so I avoided the call. And then I got a call again within the next minute, and so I answered the call, and it was my niece, Jessica, yelling, and it was breaking up. And she, it was breaking up, and it was Monica calling, saying, they killed Fabio, they killed Fabio. And then the phone was cracking up, and then I was like, it doesn't even sound like her. I'm like, this is a crazy joke. And then Jessica came on the phone. She goes, Zia, like Auntie, Daddy's dead. Someone killed Daddy, and it was blood everywhere. And she started breaking down, and then I'm breaking down, and I'm like, this can't be true.
So the first person that you spoke to that night was the defendant, who said that they killed Fabio?
She did. She said they.
Okay. Had you spoken to the police at this point in time yet?
No, I had not.
Now, after this station, did you fly down to Los Angeles along with the rest of your family? That would be your mother and your sister and all the cousins and the extended family. Luigi?
Yes. My mom was sick. She was recovering from cancer, and it was a little hard to tell her that her son had been murdered. So it took us some time, and then on Wednesday we got on a flight. It was maybe 8 or 9 of us, family members, and then some more followed the next day. But we landed on the Wednesday, the 25th.
Did you go directly to the home at Queen Victoria where you had just been a few days before?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And when you got to the house, did you see the defendant?
Yes, we did.
And did you tell her beforehand that you were all coming?
Yes, we did.
All right. And what did she do when you came to the house that day on the 25th?
She looked very distraught. She was upset. She was
Did she?
Holding Fabio's sweater, and she was just sobbing and sighing and exasperated. And
Okay. And did she take you on a tour to show you what she had seen in the house?
I'll allow it.
yes, she did. She took us into the kitchen, and my sister, myself, and my daughter were there following her, and she was telling us that they used vinegar. Do you see? They used vinegar. Do you smell it? Can you still smell it? Why would they use vinegar? Was it to get rid of any DNA? Was it to get rid of DNA? And then she said, they didn't even use my knives. They didn't even use the knives. They were sitting right here. They didn't use my knives. And then she kept walking us around, and she showed us that there was blood stains and on the floor, but they're clean now. And then she mentioned they took her DVR because the monitor they had in the kitchen was black. So we were looking like we were on a tour, and then she's pointing, there's stains on the door here. I guess the insurance company is going to come and paint again, and come and paint this. Then she took us into the bedroom.
And what did she do when are you talking about the master bedroom?
Yes, the master bedroom.
And what, if anything, did she point out or show you in the master bedroom?
She showed us some blood stains that were black now, and she said there was blood stains here. We were robbed, and they took money. They opened the safe.
She said they opened the safe?
Yes, they opened the safe. It's broken. Can't close it.
She said the safe was broken?
Broken. And then she started going through Fabio's jacket pockets, his suit pockets, saying that Fabio keeps money everywhere. He's got money everywhere. I don't get him. Now she's like angry, and she's going through his pockets and pulling out cash.
From the pockets?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And then at some point, she gave $800 in change to my mom from all the money she collected in the pockets.
In Canadian money?
In Canadian money.
Okay. And at some point, did you also have contact with her family at the home?
Oh, yes. Everybody was there. At one time, we could have been like 20 people there. And Wella was bringing food for us, and everybody was very grateful for that. And then at one time, the mom had said, we got to tell Wella to stop sending food. I don't want no more food.
So where were you all congregating?
Outdoors mostly.
On the patio area?
In the patio area and in the kitchen.
Okay. And at some point in time, on the following day, did individuals from Wella come to the home while you were there?
Yes, they did.
And did that include the CEO, Sal?
Yes.
Did you know Sal?
Yes, I did.
And who else came with Sal to the house that day, if you recall?
Sal Mosseri came, David Diaz came, and Henry Meyer.
Okay. Did you know all these people from Wella?
Yes, I did.
All right. And did they sit down with you and the defendant and others?
They had asked to speak to her privately, and if they wanted us to leave the room, and she said everybody could leave the room except for Monica's sister and myself.
Okay. So you and her sister sat down with these gentlemen?
Yes.
And the defendant?
Yes.
And did they at that time go over some of the financial support that Fabio had put into place, including life insurance policies?
Yes, it was the first time I had seen them since the murder, and they had come over to tell Monica what Wella was prepared to do, and they had told her that he had life insurance and also something about indemnity, double indemnity and that they were going to take care of Monica anywhere, like for 3, they're going to try for 6 months. There's anything you need. They were constantly reaching out if she needed anything. And that same day, I said, maybe, you know, there are 3 girls by themselves in the house. Maybe you can get a security guard or someone to help or replace the DVR or some security.
You said that?
Yes, I did.
Who did you say that to?
All 3 of them.
And what, if anything, did anybody respond?
I was stopped before I can even finish my sentence. Monica said, no, absolutely not. I'm fine. We're going to be fine.
And did she say anything else? Did you ask her if she was afraid at all of staying in this house alone, given that you were asking the gentleman who were offering help
Yes.
for security?
Yes, that's why I assumed she was going to be scared because what had happened, and you know, and they were out there.
And what did she say?
She said that they're not scared, no negativity in this house, Sementilli power, and she was just constantly coaching the kids that they were going to be fine in their home that their father built for them or bought for them or set up.
Sementilli power, is that something your brother used to say?
Yeah, he would say wonderful memes like that, like charge that mountain, you can do it, chin up, Sementilli power.
Take our afternoon recess for 15 minutes. The admonition applies. I'll see you back here in 15 minutes. Protesters on Spring Street. The bad news is, as of 30 seconds ago, Spring Street is closed. Maybe they'll be open when you leave. I don't know if you go down Spring Street or not, but that's the update as of now. Ms. Sementilli, you're still under oath, and people may continue.
All right. I think when we stopped for the break, we were talking about what happened on the day that individuals from Wella came to speak to the defendant at Queen Victoria. Were you also present when they not only talked about the life insurance but stock options and other benefits?
Yes.
All right. And at some point in time, did the individuals from Wella, like Henry Meyer, was he explaining things to the defendant with respect to what Fabio had signed up for in terms of benefits?
Yes, he carefully explained everything that he needed to share with her about the insurance and stock options.
And at some point after they left, the defendant say anything to you?
She said that she was going to get a family lawyer in case they're screwing her.
Okay. And did the defendant go into detail with you on what had occurred on the date of January 23rd of 2017 prior to Fabio's murder? Did she talk to you and the family about what they had done that day?
Yes, she told us. We were all looking to find out what happened and how that day went, and she said that her and Fabio had a beautiful morning together. He had a colonoscopy appointment, and then they had a beautiful afternoon and a lunch together. They went to drop off a weed whacker, and then she dropped him off at home, and she went to Ralph's to pick up like veal cutlets to make fettina.
For dinner?
For dinner. And she told all of us, the whole family was listening to this.
And on that, on one of those days while you were there, around 5 o'clock, did the defendant start making certain comments about Fabio coming home?
Oh,
She looked at her watch and she says, "Oh my God, it's almost 5. Fabio's going to come home. Mike, Obed, I believe, Deborah's husband, maybe his name's not Obed, but her husband, Mike, said, oh, I'm going to get a tequila. I'm going to pour a tequila for him. And then they started creating a shrine on his chair. The chair had a tequila, a cigar, his Big Daddy hat, and it kind of stayed like that for the next couple of days.
Big Daddy, is that a phrase you heard before used in reference to your brother?
Yes.
Your brother was a sort of a big guy.
Yeah, he's a big guy. He's a very loving and huggy kind of guy, and he brought everybody in. He didn't discriminate. He was always very social and loved everybody, so he was like a daddy figure, looked out for everyone.
Showing you Exhibit 108, is this what you saw them put together?
Yes,
Set
there's
it on the chair with the
tequila,
and the picture
the
of your
picture,
brother,
the hat, the cigar.
And did you also see that the defendant posted something on her social media account or Instagram account with respect to setting up some type of a shrine on the chair that Fabio sat in?
Oh yes, her Instagram posts were very endearing. She was always very much in pain. She missed him, and you know, it just made us all feel helpless. We wanted to help her in any way we could.
Showing you Exhibit 109, is this what you're referring to?
Yes.
Did the defendant talk to you about the patio cushions that we actually can see in 108 and 109?
Yes, we were looking at the crime scene as early as the Wednesday after, and everything looked like everything was back in its place. But she had described that everything was full of blood. There was blood all over the floor, and that when they pulled Fabio up, he still had a smoldering cigar. And she said that they wanted to, insurance or someone wanted to come and clean up the pillows and the floor and all that, but she said that Mike would do it. So I think they power washed all the pillows and the floor and everything, and then they turned them upside down, and we're good to go for Wednesday.
And that was with respect to the area where Fabio was murdered under the covered patio?
Yes.
And were you present that week when the defendant took some of your nephews and Luigi into Fab's closet?
Yes, I was there.
And what happened?
Luigi had asked for a few things, and then she came out with more clothing, and she asked the boys to pick whatever they wanted, take it. Do you guys want power tools? Do you want some of his tools? Do you want anything that you see? Go ahead and take it. And they're in shock. They're like, we can't carry power tools on the flight home because of the weight restriction. So they opted not to take any of that. They took some T-shirts.
So she was giving away Fabio's things to the nephews that while you were there?
That's overruled.
Yes, she was.
Okay. Did the defendant make any comments to Luigi while you were there that week about financial assistance?
Yes, she was reassuring him that your father took care of you. You're going to be okay, but you're going to get the insurance in Canada. You're going to have to help your sisters out. You're going to have to help us.
Okay. And had the defendant talked to you that week about the fact that there was Fabio had set up a Canadian life insurance policy through Manulife for Luigi?
Yes. I knew of this prior because of my divorce as well. We know that that happens in Canada.
It's part of the law there, yes?
Yes.
You said that you were very concerned about the safety of Monica and the girls, and so you said that you were asking the individuals from Wella about a security guard. Did the defendant say anything to you about whether or not she wanted to move and get out of that house?
No, she had mentioned that she can't afford to stay in the house, so she had to remove the gardener, the pool people, a few different things that she had to rearrange, but eventually she would want to find something smaller, another house.
Did she tell you that she did not want to move?
Yeah, she didn't want to move from LA or the house, but she had no choice.
And you said that the monitor, the DVR monitor on the counter was black. Did she tell you anything about why it was black?
No.
Did she tell you that the killers had taken their security system?
She did.
Did Fabio ever mention to you his ability to monitor his home surveillance system remotely from his cell phone?
No.
Did the defendant ever mention that she had the ability to do that from her cell phone?
No.
While you were there on January 29th of 2017, did you attend a viewing for your brother at a funeral home and a service?
Yes.
Okay. And after that, was there a wake that night or a gathering in the backyard that was catered?
Yes, Wella had arranged for everybody to be fed and to be taken care of. So there was maybe 80 people in the backyard after the viewing at the funeral home.
And did the defendant say anything to you about what she was going to do that night when these 80 or so people were going to be coming to the house for this catered event?
Yes, she told me she was tired and she couldn't do anything else for the rest of the day. She was wanting to go to sleep. So shortly after, I asked for a cell phone charger, and I went into the bedroom, and she had her hair up in a bun. She was playing something on her tablet or a Sudoku or something. She had no makeup on. Her pajamas were on. And I just checked in on her and grabbed the charger, and I left.
Did she come back out at some point?
She did.
Okay. And where was the next time you saw her that evening?
Well, I was mingling with some of the Wella people, and I got tapped on the shoulder by Deborah Obad and said, "You got to help me. You got to help me get this guy out of here." And I turned around, and I said, "Who?" And then we got closer to where Monica was sitting, and I noticed she had her makeup on, her hair was down, and she was dressed up again. And there was this guy, the two of them were like kind of leaning into each other. And they were talking like they were in their own little world.
Where?
In the backyard, not far from where Fabio was murdered, sitting, the two of them. And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And I just wanted to say that I was shocked because she looked like she was done for the day, and then she popped back out again.
Showing you Exhibit 45. What you see here, is this the area where you saw them sitting and speaking with one another?
Yes, and behind Robert Baker is my brother's shrine, the chair that he was murdered in. Yes.
That's what we see right here.
Yes.
And shortly after that, did you observe the two of them go somewhere?
Yes, I think Deborah was the one who asked them that we need to go inside. And then all four of us, Deborah, myself, Monica, and Baker, went through the kitchen door. We passed Monica's mother, Mena Crescentini, and as we're passing by, she was like standing there like a sergeant. And I'm still shocked not knowing what's going on, but he did stand out like a sore thumb because he wasn't a Wella person. So we don't
Or
know.
family.
Or family. So we don't know what he was doing there, but
And where did they go? Once you guys came into the house, where did they go?
so the four of us followed basically Monica. She went into a dark living room, sat on the couch, and then Baker sat in front of her on an ottoman. And then I just found a spot to sit next to her on the right and Deb on the left. And with what Deb had said to me, that we got to get rid of this guy, everybody's looking, I whispered into Monica's ear, I go, who is this guy? Like, you know, everybody's looking at you, everybody's watching what's going on, in Italian. Because I didn't want to embarrass her or him or my brother. Like, this is embarrassing.
Why?
Well, she's acting like she's in her own little world, talking to some strange guy. I just didn't like that. It was very not right to be doing, disrespectful.
And so in Italian, what you said to her, what is going on?
Yeah.
And what did she respond, if anything?
She goes, oh, this is my racquetball coach, Robert Baker. This is my sister-in-law, Morella. And we shook hands. He gave me his condolences. And then she introduced him to Deborah. And then I think I heard her say, you probably better you go now. So he got up, she got up, we all got up. And as we're walking towards the front door, again, Monica's mother's standing there looking at him with her eyes beady. And I'm trying to read this, what's going on here? And then as he was leaving, he wanted to nod and say goodnight. And she told him, fuck off.
In English? Or
Very
Italian?
very loud in English.
Okay.
Late 60s, 70s age woman, and she just screamed out, fuck off, like that to him.
Okay. And you were standing at the door at that point?
I was still behind, near Monica's mom, and the door was 2 steps up.
Okay.
So we didn't go up the steps. He did with her.
At any point in time prior to this period, did Deborah ever mention to you that she knew that the defendant was having an affair behind your brother's back?
No. Sorry. She never said anything to us. It was devastating to hear that she may have known something, and she watched 20-odd family members crying, looking for answers, trying to figure out who would do this to my brother. And she had already known something and never shared it with us.
Did she ever tell you that she knew that Baker had slept over in Monica's bed while your brother was away on business?
No, she never did that.
To your knowledge, did she ever warn your brother?
No. Sorry.
That would be sustained.
Did your brother ever mention to you that he suspected Monica was having an affair?
No, he did not.
Was there a point in time when you and your brother were running salon shampoo in Canada where you were present when your brother became upset at the defendant when some men came to the salon looking for Monica?
It's overruled.
It was my birthday. A bunch of girls, we went out, and Fabio wasn't happy about that, but we just went out. Girls wanted to bring me out, and I enjoyed a great evening with all the girls and not paying attention to everybody and what they were doing. But the next day, some guys, nice-looking guys, came in, and they went to the reception desk and asked for Monica. And then the receptionist pointed, because I was at my salon chair, was right beside the reception desk, and I turned around, and the receptionist pointed to the upstairs mezzanine floor. So they walked through the salon, and they went upstairs, chatted with Monica.
Sustained? Stated. But I have to go through a balancing process. I sustained it on relevance.
Thank you,
And from now on, when I rule on 352 objections, it is deemed that I've balanced the issues.
Thank you.
And at some point in time, did your brother become angry or upset because he thought perhaps something was going on that was
Yes.
not appropriate?
That's this issue.
During the weekend that you were in Los Angeles after the murder, were you at the Queen Victoria home daily?
Sorry, repeat when?
After the murder, when you and the family flew in,
Yes.
were you at the Queen Victoria house every day?
Yes.
Was there a particular day where your significant other went with Monica somewhere?
Yes, they went to go retrieve the Porsche.
Fabio's Porsche?
Yes, Fabio's Porsche.
From an impound yard?
Yes.
Okay. And while they were gone, did someone come to the house?
Yes, a neighbor had come by and he brought in a DVD and he said that this was the footage from the surveillance of the camera of his house.
And did you and several family members watch what was on the DVD?
Yes, Monica's mother said, go watch it before she comes home.
So where did you go to watch it?
We went up to Monica's office computer upstairs.
Your Honor, what's the people's next in order? Oh, never mind. I think that's it marked. Showing you what's marked as People 74 and directing you, this would be the second floor of the home.
Yes.
Towards the back of the large living area on the second floor. Is this the computer area you're talking about?
Yes, we were all kind of hovered around the computer.
And did you all watch the footage that this neighbor had brought over?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And when the defendant came home with the Porsche and Marco, did you guys talk to her? Did you guys advise her that the neighbor had brought over a DVD with footage?
Yes, she came to learn that we had seen it because we were trying to explain to her that, you know, oh, we got an idea of what happened. Your neighbor came and dropped off the DVD. She was so upset. She made everybody feel so bad. You guys watched it without me. How could you? How dare you? Did you guys see anything? Did you see any faces? Did you see any skin color? And then she rushed upstairs. We kind of followed her to go watch it.
And so did she then watch the video herself?
She did.
Okay. And did she ask you questions other than whether or not you could see their faces or their skin color?
Yeah, my nephew had said he thought that one of them looked African American.
Sustained.
Did the defendant ask you any questions about the video? You and the group of family members that had watched.
While we were watching it with her, no.
Okay. And when she first came in, you said that she asked certain questions.
She did.
And what were those things that she was asking you?
That if we can see any faces, any skin color, was it clear? Can you see it clearly? What did they look like? What were they wearing? Like it was just boom, 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 question after each other, and we can understand why she was frustrated, but we were asked to go see it. We didn't do this out of any malicious reason.
Well, you were also interested in finding out who had murdered your brother.
Of course, yes, yes.
Did you keep in touch with Monica after you returned to Canada after your brother's murder?
Yes, I did.
And did you speak with her every week?
Pretty much every week, yes.
Okay. And you already told us that you followed her Instagram account. In terms of the conversations that you had with the defendant after that date, was there a particular topic that seemed to come up every time you spoke with her?
Yes, it was always, it would start with, did you get any information from the police officer? Do they have any leads? Is there anything that they have any answers to? And she says no. And I would say, I want to call, I want to talk to them. And she would say, no, don't call them. I only want them talking to me. I don't want anybody calling. And she would explain to me that she would tell them all the time that she was going to be living on their front stoop if this insurance money didn't come in. She had to remove all these things that they were like, she had to get rid of the cleaning lady, the pool people, the gardener, and she was struggling with financials, and she was always troubled by financials, and the insurance company wasn't releasing her, and she was like out of breath sometimes trying to figure out how she's going to get them to release her.
So, you mean law enforcement?
Yes.
And was the subject of money something that she brought up and complained about on a regular basis?
All the time.
And did the defendant tell you, when you mentioned that she would be sitting on their front stoop, does that mean that she was telling you that she was going to be sitting on law enforcement's front stoop?
Yes.
Because she didn't have money?
Yes.
Okay. Did she ever inform you that Wella decided to give her Fabio's full salary for 6 months along with their health care for free for her and the girls?
No.
At any point in time, did she tell you that she was going to Las Vegas?
She did. She told me she was going to Las Vegas with some friends,
Okay.
girlfriends.
Did she ever tell you that she was going to Myrtle Beach?
She did. She said she wanted to walk the golf course by herself.
Okay. And did she tell you why she wanted to go to Myrtle Beach and walk a golf course?
Yeah, it was like something my brother would have wanted to do all his life, maybe one day, and she thought that by doing it herself, she was doing it for him.
So had your brother ever mentioned Myrtle Beach to you?
He was avid golfer, and I wasn't, but he's mentioned many golf courses. That might have been one of them.
Like Pebble Beach?
Yes, that one for sure.
You knew he was planning a trip with Marco and some of his friends for his 50th?
Yes.
All right. At some point in time, because of how distraught the defendant was regarding her financial situation, did you encourage Marco to assist her?
Yes. I told her, you keep calling them all the time, you keep bothering them, but, unless you're put in an official letter, I said, they might not take you seriously.
You told the defendant
Yeah. And I said, if you want, Marco can help you draft it, and then just send him all the details so that, he can address it properly, or I don't know whatever happened after that.
Did she ever try to dissuade you from speaking to law enforcement or the LAPD yourself?
Yes. She even got upset one time that my son had called. And I didn't know that my son had called. And then I found out with a very stern voice, she goes, absolutely don't ever call again. Tell him.
And after the murder, did you, along with her family, talk about taking turns coming down to California to stay with her so that she wouldn't be alone in the aftermath?
Yes, we did for a while. If it wasn't her mom, it would be her sister or would be myself. We would rotate, or at least we talked about it. I used to do their hair, so we would catch up and talk about who's going next and so on.
When you say their hair, you're talking about Monica's family?
Monica's family, yes.
All right.
Mother and sister.
Now, at some point, did talk with Monica, or did she talk with you about the fact that she didn't want any of you coming to stay?
Overruled.
Yes, it was around Easter time, and we went to the garage. And we had my husband, myself, Monica, maybe one or two other people. We were just talking about how's everything going, and
Was this the like the 1 month memorial?
no,
So
maybe, no, sorry, yes, it was. It was, because the Easter was different. There wasn't, I had a house full of guests. It was, the only time that really happened would have been at the 1 month memorial, sorry. Yeah.
okay. So at the 1 month memorial, is that like a tradition?
Yes.
All right. And did the defendant come to Toronto for that along with Jessica?
Yes, that's right. And I had some other guests as well. And that particular day, we had gone outside for smoke and asking her how things are going. And she's like, I'm sick and tired of this, like, people coming in and out and all these people in my house, you know, just leave me alone. If I want to fuck, I'm going to fuck. I'm a big ass girl. Just, I wish they would leave me alone.
And was that when you were talking to her while she was smoking in your garage?
Yes.
And who else was with you?
My husband.
Marco.
Yes.
Did that statement come after you offered to come stay with her and help out with the girls?
Yes,
And did she turn you down?
she did.
At some point in time, did Monica talk to you and your daughter about setting up some kind of a college fund for her girls?
Yes, people were calling and wanting to know if they were accepting flowers for the funeral, and or if there was a donation for the children, the girls' college fund. And my daughter took the initiative to suggest to open up an account so that people can donate to the college fund in lieu of flowers, both in the U.S. and in Canada.
Okay. And at some point in time, did the defendant talk to you and your daughter about the account that your daughter helped her set up?
Yeah, we were checking in just to see, you know, how it was going and how generous people were. And she said she removed her daughter's names because she didn't want them seeing that they had money and privileges.
Okay.
And
And-
left just her name.
And she talked to you and Vanessa about this?
Yes.
At some point in time, after you were in Los Angeles for the week following Fabio's murder, did you fly back to Canada along with the family for various funeral services and things of that nature?
Yes, we all did.
And Fabio's body was also sent back to
Yes,
Canada
it
by the
was.
company?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. And by the way, when the defendant would go back to Canada, where would she typically stay?
With her mom.
Was that in the same area where you live, Woodwood?
Yes.
And there was a funeral event
Yes, there was.
and luncheon and some other events.
Yes, we did Thursday evening viewing, full day Saturday viewing, and then Sunday Thursday half a day viewing, and then Friday the full day viewing, and then Saturday was the mass, and then he was released and went to being cremated.
Had anybody in your family ever been cremated before?
No.
Was that something that upset you and your mother and your sister?
It's overruled.
it was very upsetting because my mom was standing right there and nobody asked her what she wanted. And we were all waiting, but she made an announcement. She said, your father would have wanted to be cremated, and I'm going to let the kids decide, but you know your father wanted to be cremated. And these 3 young kids agreed.
So, had Fabio ever mentioned cremation with you?
Not that I know of, no.
Well, you would remember something like that, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So Fabio was cremated at the end of these few days, correct?
Right. So what happened on the Saturday is after the Mass, Fabio went to the crematorium, and the majority of the guests went to a banquet hall to have some food and refreshments. And my husband, my nephew, and Monica's brother-in-law named Grant Larson went to the crematorium to be there for the procedure of cremation. The rest of us went to the banquet hall for a luncheon that my husband and I paid for, along with her mother, Mena.
Okay. Philomena?
Philomena.
And temporarily, what was done? Well, it's not temporary anymore, but at that point in time, what was done with his remains?
Well, when we were in LA, we were told day to day something different, and then finally she had decided that she was going to expedite or bring my brother back to Toronto because he always wanted to go back to Canada. And you need to plan. You need to call the cemetery in order to accept the body coming in via airline. So I needed to know this information, and I called my cousins who had just experienced lots of loss, and I knew they knew their way around funeral homes, and they said they'd be more than happy to help, and they were on the other end helping by going to the funeral home and setting up the funeral procedures for when we get there.
Okay, but my question was, what was done with his remains after he was cremated?
So in that preparing, because it was last minute, they offered a crypt that they bought as a family burial ground. And for temporary use, she can put his ashes in the full crypt. And
that's where he remains.
that's where he is today.
So she's never purchased any crypt,
Nothing.
location.
No.
So his remains are in a cousin's.
Temporarily laying in my cousin's family crypt.
For the last 8 years.
Yes.
Due to the traffic situation, we're going to adjourn at this time.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be in adjournment until 9 o'clock on Monday. 3 things I need to tell you. First is the admonition, as always. Do not discuss this case among yourselves or with anyone else or form or express any opinion to you. I broke this off the record as to the last 2 days. Next, as a judge.